Hello, this is Lucretia with the Calm and Confident You podcast. Today, I'm going to talk with you about taking notice of your energy and choosing to shift your focus. Our progress in our lives towards things we care about does not follow a straight onward and upward path. I personally made a significant shift around Mother's Day weekend. For the 3 months prior, I'd been very focused and working hard on creating my new stress reduction course and then presenting it to the world. I was very focused and driven, and I am very happy with how it turned out, and I now have a couple people in it and have run a couple of my office hour meetings, and this really is the fun part, working with and encouraging others. But putting in all of that hard work to launch the course left me kind of tired and not wanting to work like that for a while. However, several months ago, I registered to have a booth in a craft fair, which is the first weekend in June. I need to turn my attention to getting my inventory built back up, but I've been having trouble getting started. For one thing, I've neglected my craft for so long that now I need to clean up and organize my workspaces before I can even start. This feels like another push like the one I just completed. And like I said, I don't really feel like pushing myself. The Saturday before Mother's Day, I began gradually sorting through, putting away and moving around things in my garage. I had to start small because looking at the whole garage made me think there was no way I could do any of my woodworking in there. First, I cleared a small part of my table. Then I wound up some outdoor extension cords and found places to put them. I took a bunch of cardboard boxes to the dump. Then I moved the snowblower back and moved my table saw to be out in front. And I moved my miter saw into the middle front of the garage and checked to see if I could plug it into the only useful outlet. Then I became curious about what wood I had on hand and what sections I had already cut before I put things aside for the winter. Pretty soon I dug out my notes with measurements for the different boxes that I make. And the next thing that naturally occurred was I spent a good long time cutting more wood for the sides of the boxes that I like to make. And that felt good. On Mother's Day, the next day, my mood was a little different. I kept thinking about my garden. I kept having ideas of what I wanted to do with it. Now you need to understand that I have not had a garden since 2020. When I was sent home to stay away from work for a while because of the COVID outbreak. Since then, I've been working so much that I just don't give enough attention to keeping up a vegetable garden. So you might imagine that my garden beds are in the same state of disarray as my garage. So on Mother's Day, I turned my attention to making needed repairs. One of the corners of a raised garden bed had completely separated. The screw wasn't attached, and I wanted to fix that before adding more soil. I'd already been thinking of this, so I had purchased some brackets, and I had bought a cordless drill. The project seemed daunting to me, and my energy was low. But I thought I would just play with the new drill and remove the old screw. Well, that was easy and fun. So then I decided to try to reattach the screw. And I did manage to get it to catch enough to be helpful in holding the corner together. Now that I had a little more confidence, I decided to try attaching the bracket. I didn't know if the wood would split from being old and weathered, and I didn't know if the bracket would even be effective. It was awkward at first, but I got it figured out. So with that success, I added brackets to the rest of the corners on that bed and on all 4 corners of another raised bed. Then I dumped a large bag of new garden soil into each one, and it was so pretty and satisfying. I managed to actually plant the vegetable garden over Memorial Day weekend when the weather finally turned nice. Now I have one more example to share. Remember the wood that I cut for my boxes? Well, I have different designs that I put on the lids using wood burning, and then people can choose the box with their favorite design. But before I could get back to doing that, I needed to clear off and organize my indoor workspace. That area had become my present wrapping area over the holidays, and then random things had just collected there. Why do I do this to myself? I always wonder. Again, I didn't feel the energy, but I chose to just do a little bit. I started putting things away until I had the room and my supplies gathered for transferring a design onto the wood. I waited another day until I felt calm and focused enough to do the wood burning. Then I was into the process and made satisfying creative progress. So here's the thing. I didn't give in to the overwhelm and give up. I also didn't force myself to push hard. I started with a little bit, small, easy aspects of the larger project. I also took a nap or two along the way. Each small accomplishment made the next step easier and more appealing. And I've made the shift from working on my computer, writing and creating, to working with my hands, building and creating. It's all creative, which I enjoy, but it's a different kind of mentality. You might classify as left brain or right brain, or verbal or visual spatial. It all involves planning and problem solving, along with original thought. Now, I really was aware of my lack of energy and low motivation. I not only wanted to do my projects, but I also wanted to feel like doing them. Cleaning, organizing, and fixing was a hurdle to getting to the good part. By doing just a little at a time, I saw a little progress and then felt like doing more. This week, going forward, notice your energy level and your motivation. Are you in action mode, or do you need to shift gears? What small step can you take in the direction that you want to go? Can you find a way to do it without forcefully pushing yourself like you're a workhorse? Can you get to a place in which you're doing what you want to do? Will you have a satisfying result? Please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already, and check out my inspirational website at growingemotionalstrength.com. And until next time, be well.